Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 of Nerd Rage Gaming's FNM. I'm your host commentator, Andrew Donnelly, here with
Matthew Robert Dow,
and we are on to round 2. And we have another Jeskai Tokens deck, this time up against a Tamir aggro list. Now, I talked to Tommy before this round, and he told me he wasn't actually sure what kind of Tamir list he was playing. I asked him, is it aggro? Is it mid-range? Is it a Joe Bernal kind of control list? And he just said, I don't know what it is, you decide. So I decided it was aggro. I didn't get to look through the deck, but...
Looks more mid-rangey.
You think it's mid-range?
Yeah, I mean, I saw Stormbat Dragon. I saw Stormbat Dragon and Courser of Krufix. I would not consider Courser of Krufix a aggressive
I would
card.
not consider an aggressive card either, so we are going to make that adjustment. It will be called a Tamir mid-range list.
Can we add Tamir Pile? Because I don't think the deck is very good.
Now see, that's where I disagree. I had a Tamir tempo list that I thought was very good, and I enjoyed playing the deck. I don't think
I'm glad you had fun.
I had fun, and that was the part that I liked about it. It was a fun list. It let me play Knuckleblade. It let me play Poly K. I got to play Stubborn Denial and Tamir Charm. I got to have counter magic. Oh, okay.
All right.
Here we go.
Well, Tommy's got a pretty awkward draw here. He has a Heir of the Wilds and a bunch of lands that do him a bunch of damage, so he's going to take 2 here to play a 2/2 Death Toucher. So once again, not very good against the
Jeskai Tokens deck.
1/1s. The Crater Claw is also not very good against the deck full of 1/1s.
I agree with you, but I think Crater Claws to the Dome
is
is
perfectly
very
fine,
good.
but I don't know if Tommy is going to ever get to Crater Claws to the
so
Dome.
he's going in for 2 right now.
So I think Tian's going to try to raise.
Just zap it right here. Okay.
We have to Stubborn Denial this.
Do we Stubborn Denial the Lightning Strike?
I'm pretty sure we have to Stubborn Denial this.
Just to keep our guy alive, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Just to keep our guy alive and gain tempo there.
Sure.
So our opponent uses 2 mana, but unfortunately for us, we don't have a 3rd land.
That is true.
So,
that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. I think he still has another Stubborn Denial, so maybe we can get lucky and he'll just...
Stubborn Denial Hordeling Outburst, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's going to Rabble
that's
Master.
a Rabble Master.
That's not good for us. Although we do have...
Rabble Master gets in for 1.
We don't even have Monster or Ferocious to kill this Rabble
do
Master
not.
with the Crater's Claws. We
No,
need
it
a
says-
draw land here. Hopefully it
says
doesn't come into
only
play tapped. Oh, there we go. We got there.
What do we get?
We got
what do
Wooded
pull? Shivan
Foothills.
Reef? Oh, Wooded Foothills. Okay, so we can go at least search something up.
Yeah, I think we have to kill this Rebel Master. It's just going to get out of control. But this deck is just doing so much damage. This is why I don't like this deck. It deals so much damage.
It does.
Its lands.
Yes, you do take a lot of damage from your lands.
The mana
I will
is
agree.
not very good.
It is not. The mana base is not good for it. Is it fun to play though? And do you have access to a wide variety of cards that are also enjoyable to play? Yes, you do. Now, I should say that I didn't play the Heir of the Wilds version. I played I played the one of Steam Augury kind of control version that was very different. I like the Crater Claws though, and then we're getting in for 2.
Yeah, I mean...
At least he didn't direct the Crater Claws to the face, which was something last week we saw not optimal.
Here's the problem. We're tied on life here, and we have a 2/2. So we have a 2/2, and we're still at this. We're losing the race right now, and we've had a 2/2 for the entire game.
This is true
because we've dealt a billion points of damage essentially to ourselves, and now our opponent has a bunch of chump blockers, and we have cards in our hand that don't particularly deal well with a bunch of 1/1s, and we drew another bad one.
Another Stubborn Denial or another Crater Claw. They all have the exact same lanes. Now that's actually pretty true. I think here though, in most cases you find that to really play things effectively with the Tamir mid-range deck, you have to just hit certain lands in a very direct order. I don't know if it's necessarily Tamir's fault per se, but no.
Yeah, and I don't know if these lists are playing like Frontier Bivouac.
Sure.
So, because it's not great on turn 1.
That is true. It is not good because optimally you want to play a land that you can maybe the Yavimaya Coast into an Elvish Mystic and then have a turn 2 Sylvan Caryatid. Oh, they're stoked. Wow.
Yeah, so he's gonna
Stoke
the Savage Knuckle Blade and then untap. No, but I mean, like, I agree that maybe the mana is the same, but maybe it's just anecdotal that every single time I play this deck, people either have mana troubles or just deal a ton of damage to themselves with their lands.
Holy cow. He is just.
So we're attacking for 12 here.
This is the Jeskai token, so that is. Holy cow. I mean, that was very fast. And that's what we've kind of come to expect from the Jeskai tokens list.
Yeah, that's what happens when you deal a bunch of damage
to yourself. Yeah,
and you just, I mean,
correct.
It was not a great mulligan. So he had a bunch of bad cards in his hand. Trader Claws, I think.
And don't get me wrong, I completely agree with you that even when I played my Tamir list, the amount of damage I took from my own lands, whether it was fetches or pain lands, it was a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, the mana seems consistent, but once again, you're playing this deck. You don't have a Siege Rhino to gain you life. You know what I mean? There's no.
Yeah, I mean those, like, the Abzan decks are playing like Caryatids and Coursers to make your, to mana a little less painful.
Correct.
So Tommy is playing Frontier Bivouac. I don't know. Every single time I play this deck, I always feel like people are doing too much damage with their lands.
I agree.
You could be right that in this case, the mana bases are just essentially the same.
To some degree, you know what I mean. I don't know. I don't know if I entirely believe that. I mean, granted, yes, they have access to lands that are very similar, but I don't know if that necessarily means concise mana base across all decks.
Yeah. So for sideboard here, I think Tommy just wants to be as aggressive as possible. I think David's going to bring in like end hostilities and stuff.
Okay.
Tommy's going to bring in Anger of the Gods, which is really good. I see Destructive Revelry, Reclamation Sage, a million Chandras. So I guess Tommy is going to be more of the controlling deck.
Sure. Which is, you think Tommy will be more of the controlling deck?
Yeah, that's what it looks like he's boarding into.
Okay. Which once again,
I think that actually might be fine.
Okay.
I think it might be pretty difficult for all of his ground attackers to beat through all of the tokens, so he might just want to board into the more controlling deck, especially because he has 3 Anger of the Gods in his sideboard.
Sure.
And I know I saw David board out some amount of Treasure Cruises. So
some amount.
I think David's probably going to bring in End Hostilities and Elspeth's. Elspeth's pretty good against this deck.
Mm-hmm.
The one problem card I think David's going to have to worry about is Stormbreath Dragon, which the only card aside from End Hostilities and Elspeth that can kill it is Stoke the Flames.
Sure.
So it's going to probably be a little bit of a problem for him.
I mean that game 1 was.
Yeah, but I don't know if I like. I don't know. I have to see what Tommy's sideboard looks like, or what his deck looks like after sideboard here. But I think he kept in Elvish Mystics and Rattleclaw Mystics.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to keep those cards in when you're bringing in a card that does 3 damage to everything.
Every creature.
Yeah. So I would imagine he boarded those out.
Sure.
I hope he did. It didn't look like he did, so I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. I mean, I could understand the Rattleclaws to some degree. I don't know if I would agree with leaving the Elvish Mystics in if you're planning on bringing in the Anger of the Gods, or if you're,
I would just board them all out.
Yeah, just take.
If we're going to be the control deck, we might as well be the control deck.
Sure.
And board out all of the things where we're just trying to ramp into big, powerful threats.
Mm-hmm.
I saw he was bringing in more Stubborn Denials, so.
Let's see where he goes. I mean, that first game was
Yeah.
Over in a blink. I mean,
and
it very fast.
Didn't help that Tommy mulliganed and his mulligan stunk. So
that's true. His mulligan stunk, and David had a very optimal hand for the tokens.
David's hand was pretty good. So,
well, let's see. This started game 2. What does Tommy got in his hand there? He's got another Crater's Claw.
Yeah, he's got a Crater's Claw. I think he's got a Magma Spray, Stubborn Denial. He's got some lands this time. I think he has Rattleclaw Mystic too.
Okay.
So
let's see. Oh, there's a Chandra.
That's a good one. If we can get turn 3 Chandra,
it's a Rattleclaw Mystic.
That's pretty good.
He's taking some damage there.
we need to find another land, though, to hit turn 3 Chandra.
Turn 3 Chandra would be nice.
Turn 3 Chandra would be... Turn 3 Chandra is pretty good, I think.
It's not bad.
I don't know. I don't like Crater's Claws. I would have boarded that card out. It seems really bad.
I would have, too. I was not a fan of Crater Claws in my Tamir list.
I think it's a good card. I just don't think it's very good in this matchup.
Yeah,
it doesn't do anything.
It isn't.
It's only a fireball, essentially, unless you want to try to kill a token.
I mean, it's removal, I guess, somewhat early against like a Rabble Master, but
yeah. But he's bringing in better, more efficient removal.
Correct.
So David fetching going to 19.
No, what did he find? He just went found a regular plains.
Yeah.
Drops a Seeker the way here.
No, I think he just passed back.
Okay.
Tommy drew a Stormbreath Dragon for a turn, so he again is stuck on lands. Doesn't have a third mana. I don't think he can attack here. It's pretty bad if he has raised the alarm. But I think Tommy has Stubborn now, so he's fine with trying to. Yeah, so this is gonna get countered.
I don't know. He might. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I mean,
likes it.
It's not the greatest. Tommy really needed to hit a 4th land there.
Man, that turn 3 Chandra would have been.
So David's stuck on lands now.
Wow.
There we go. There's the 4th land. I wonder if Tommy will run this Chandra into negate. If it's me, I run the Chandra into negate.
I think you
make him have it.
Yeah,
baby.
you immediately fire it off. I agree.
It's gonna get disdainful stroked.
Okay, sure.
So.
At least you're making him pay a life for it.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, we have Stormbreath Dragon in our hand too, so if anything, I'd much rather Chandra get, disdainful stroke.
Sure,
right there
than the Stormbreath.
Dragon. Although David has Stoke the Flames, so maybe not.
I mean, once again, you're playing the cards to force him to have the answers.
Yeah, sure. I just make him have it.
Right. I mean, especially if he's at least the Stormbreath's getting him for 4.
He's gonna Lightning Struck our guy.
All right.
It's not very good for us.
That's not strong for Tommy, especially when you're stuck on the lands here. What does he draw?
He's got a
Savage
Knuckle
Knuckleblade. So at least you run that guy out.
Yeah.
Turns on your Ferocious, which is pretty good. He's burning himself for what, 2 there?
Yeah.
Jeez.
David. I think he's gonna stoke here. Stoke this guy.
Yeah. Gosh. I mean, the answers. At least if you're Tommy, you're happy that you're getting cards out of your opponent's hand, correct?
He's
not building a board.
Yeah, there's an awkward one though. He drew a Courser of Krufix, and we don't have.
And doesn't have the second green to draw.
Yeah.
So you're passing the turn, letting your opponent resolve a Jeskai Ascendancy. You find the Mana Confluence, so now the Courser can come out.
Yep.
But is that the line you want to take?
I think that's the line you have to take. He has a bunch of.
He
has
has a Magma
Stormbreath
Spray.
Dragon and Magma Sprays.
Sure.
And Kratos Claws in his hand. Yeah,
all right.
That's your only line.
So he's burning himself for 2. I mean, if
can't see what's on top of his deck. Can't imagine from his body language that it was a land though.
Yeah.
So, David has a bunch of burn. It doesn't look like he has any token guys. He's got another Ascendancy.
Yep.
So David might be just on the throw a million points of burn at your face, and
which is also
and hope to find more burn.
Yeah, which is a fine play.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd necessarily do it with 3 mana up, 4 mana up, but
I mean, I think that's. He's also could just top deck this Courser of Krufix. It depends on if there is a land on top. I think if he untaps, well, I can't see the card on top, so that's a problem.
There's the other Ascendancy.
Draws a Treasure Cruise, which is a good card.
Discards a Lightning Strike.
I think he discarded Arc
Lightning. Is that what that was?
Yeah. Alright, so it is a land on top. So there's a Teamer Charm on top now, which is Mana Leak, Falter, and then fight some dudes.
Yep. +1/+1 and fight your guy.
Yeah. So Tommy's gonna have a.
Gotta be pretty relevant with that +1/+1. I have missed that before. I have played that card and missed the +1/+1.
Yeah.
Not good.
No, you gotta get that.
You gotta get the +1/+1. So the Temple of Epiphany goes up a life. thanks to
So
Courser.
he's going to bottom the Teamer Charm.